Hey there everyone, this is Michael Dougal. I review nootropics, and if you're looking for something strong that's going to work, whereas most nootropics actually don't have noticeable effects, then you'll definitely love phenylpiracetam. I only actually use it twice a week, if that, because of the fact that the effects are so strong. And the way I discovered phenylpiracetam was I was looking for something similar to Adderall or Concerta, because what do we know about any of the ADHD meds? It's that you use them and they definitely work at improving productivity and helping with focus, but of course they have side effects such as weight loss, such as irritability, and of course insomnia. And unfortunately, there were plenty of anecdotes online about people reporting phenylpiracetam had similar like effects in terms of enhancing productivity but not having some of those side effects. So I was so excited to start using it because not only did it work, but also the side effects were minimal for me and I didn't experience any withdrawals. And what I mean by that is typically when it comes to any stimulating supplements, we feel a crash afterwards. Sometimes you crash at the end of the day. Sometimes it could just be withdrawal effects, like you may have a really great day the day you use the stimulants, but the following day you have some sort of energy slump. So phenylpiracetam definitely exceeded my expectations. Mind you, I'm very sensitive to stimulants as well. Like even half a cup of coffee can get me pretty energized. And with phenylpiracetam, what I had noticed, like if I were to take 70 to 100 milligrams of phenylpiracetam under the tongue, that's what I typically do. And I'll typically do that within the first hour or so of waking up. Then I would feel very energized throughout the rest of the day. And what's so interesting about phenylpiracetam versus some of the other stimulants is the fact that it takes a bit of time to hit you. It's almost like it doesn't necessarily give you too much energy, but that it stops you from feeling fatigued as the day progresses. So typically, if you're somebody that maybe gets a bit physically tired around 6 o'clock, that's the time when you'll notice phenylpiracetam working, because you'll have way more energy than typically. And those days are absolutely amazing for me because I can just get so much done. Like I can sometimes finish 2 days of work within 1 day. And we'll get to the side effects afterwards, but the major benefits with phenylpiracetam would be more physical energy, increased confidence, and maybe a better mood. You're more resilient to stress and mental clarity because you don't feel fatigued. Task switching is very easy, so you could be on your computer, you can transition to making a phone call, text messaging somebody, getting back on your computer, and that doesn't take the same mental toll as it typically would. And that makes it great for a lot of the tedious work that you don't want to do. I've also found phenylpiracetam can really help you with your workouts. One thing to note is that it will increase your heart rate, so I would take it easy. Like I wouldn't use phenylpiracetam on a day when I'm doing high intensity interval training, for example, because let's not forget, when you use phenylpiracetam, your heart rate is already elevated. No need to get extreme here. Now let's get into some of the side effects that you'll experience with phenylpiracetam. The first one being anxiety, especially if you're somebody that doesn't respond well to stimulants. Like with stimulants, for some individuals, they make them less anxious, but for a lot of individuals, the stimulants make them more anxious, and phenylpiracetam definitely increases levels of anxiety, for myself included. It's just that the pros outweigh the cons, so I'll go ahead and like make conversations with people, but I'll feel anxious during the conversation, and I've sort of trained myself to deal with this, but now when I know there's days when I'm going to be talking to a lot of people, I wouldn't typically use phenylpiracetam, because when you're using phenylpiracetam, you're not a good listener. You're definitely not going to be empathetic. Your mind is just racing. You have so many thoughts and it makes you come across horribly impatient. The second major side effect would be insomnia. And this is probably one of the things that I dislike most about phenylpiracetam, especially concerning if you have to wake up earlier the following day, because phenylpiracetam will keep you up. And that's at very small dosages as well, even like 50 milligrams. And I've tried quite a few alternatives to phenylpiracetam, like modafinil, for example. I've talked more about modafinil in this video over here, and I've even found that modafinil doesn't mess with my sleep as much as phenylpiracetam does. Some other side effects include irritability, weight loss. That would be one if you were to use it very often. Addiction potential. Let's keep in mind this is a stimulant. It will make you in a better mood, and it's horribly addicting because when you use phenylpiracetam, you can kind of justify like, oh, I can sleep a little bit less and just use phenylpiracetam to make up for it. And that's because when you use phenylpiracetam, you don't really feel like you're in a sleep deprived state. You have physical energy. You don't feel tired or have the need to take naps. You won't find yourself yawning, as troubling as that sounds. Let's not forget that when you're so focused and so stimulated, it also blunts your appetite. So be mindful of appetite suppression, especially if you're somebody that's underweight. And one of the things I dislike most about phenylpiracetam is it is somewhat inconsistent. Like I find there are some experiences when I use phenylpiracetam, I have a great day, but there's some experiences in which I use phenylpiracetam and I'm just way too anxious to get work done. My judgment is impaired, and for that reason, I have to really second guess, like, should I use my phenylpiracetam or should I not? So what I've learned with phenylpiracetam is to really make the most of my experience with it and make sure that I have a productive day versus an unproductive day, is that that day is already filled with tasks and I know what I need to do. Because when you're using phenylpiracetam, often it will impair your judgment, which makes it such that you're using phenylpiracetam in this great state, but you're not knowing where to efficiently spend your time. And if you were to ask how to take it, you can start off with a small dosage like 50 milligrams. I find that it hits me a lot harder if I take it under my tongue versus having in the capsule form, and so as a result, I'm able to get away with taking a bit less of it. Some individuals will go up to 200 milligrams. I really don't recommend that. that. I think even 100 milligrams is quite enough, but keep in mind that we're all different. And definitely be sure to hydrate throughout the day. Make sure that you eat as usual, and you can consider using alpha GPC or a source of choline to make sure that you're having a good experience. I'd love to know your thoughts about phenylpiracetam in the comment section below. Do subscribe, drop a like if you found the video informative. If you want to chat with me one-on-one, you can message me on Patreon, and be sure to visit our Discord server. We have a 24/7 chat room. We're having a whole lot of fun. I thank you for your interest in nootropics and look forward to seeing you next time.